What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another drawing tutorial. So today we have dinosaur 1. We got the Indominus Rex, a dinosaur versus, haven't done this yet. Indominus Rex versus the Tyrannosaurus Rex, the original Rex, versus the upgrade. So it's kind of their heads, kind of a face-off sort of thing, and they're real close together. Mouth open, teeth, all that kind of stuff. So I'm on landscape paper. Use a pencil and an eraser for these and hit pause if I go too fast when I move my hand, right? So we'll start with Indominus over this side, right? So yeah, so just center point to my page about here, up over to the right, and we'll start with this eyeball. So we'll just curve a line, kind of like a bracket, sort of turning that side. And these real small eyes, right? So you just make it look sort of like a lemon or an almond or like a grain of rice or something like that. And then we're going to give him like a slender sort of cat's eye kind of thing, right? Looking that way. So he's like looking off this way. Right, so then he may have some detail lines around that, like some eyelid lines and stuff coming around. Like so, like a big one underneath here, like a bag underneath his eye. Some more coming around like this. Again, maybe. So he's real wrinkly, right? So you can add like texture on these wrinkles on his wrinkles kind of thing. So this sort of comes around his eye, right? So it'll go like around for like a brow sort of area from this bag on the bottom. So it'll just come over, kind of come down the other side here. And there's like more lines around on the inside, down that way. So at the back of this eye, right, we have another sort of section at the back. It's just like a bone or something here. And then there's like a dip, like that's like his cheekbone or something just here, and then it'll go down that way, like so. And this is like a ridge between his eye and his ear sort of thing. So just above his eye, we have this like big spike right up here. Goes down like so. And this will go towards the front of his snout, so it'll go like up that way. Okay. And then coming down the back here, we've got like some more spikes, right, going this way. Some more ridges, right? So you could have like some texture lines and things here. Like that. And there might be a bit of a brow line, so like another line that comes down here, sort of around this way, kind of make it look like he's frowning sort of thing. And then this will go back for some spikes down the back of his head. And on this we can have scales and things, so like bumps like this. You can add these details all together or do it bit by bit like me, so it's kind of a personal choice. You can add details like that, sort of these wrinkly sort of things. Dots and circles and scales and stuff. So, the back of his head, so we got like these spikes and stuff here, right? All these bumps and gnarly sort of things. And then this is like the back of his skull or something here, right? All bumpy coming down like that. So that's the back of his head. So the front of his head will go out this way, right? And we'll just go diagonal, sort of bumping up like that, right? And then the front of his snout comes down around, say, here. And then And then we'll go, say, bump it down. So his teeth kind of come out from, like, he doesn't have a gum line or anything. He just has this sort of bumpy line that comes down here, right? You can do this any old way, just like a wavy, sort of bumpy kind of line. Right, like that. And then his nostril will be up here somewhere. So you got like this long sort of bracket line like that. And then you just make the top a bit thicker, colored in dark. And then we could have like some detail around that. And then some like extra sort of texture lines on his top lip. It'd be on his bottom lip as well, but we'll do the top lip first. Just these like bumps. You can do these any old way you want, really. I found that the easiest way to do them. You know, it's just adding this sort of texture on top. And this will eventually go all the way back to the corner of his head. So like the back of his head back here, right? So it'll go like down there. And we have all the texture going the whole way down. Like so. And there's some little extra bits just on like his nose, right? So he's got like some spikes just sort of above his nostril just here. How many? Say we'll give him 3. You can give him more if you want, but I'll just give him 3. And then we have like a ridge line coming down his nose, going up towards his brow. And then another sort of, this sort of bone-like area, like a dent. I think the T-Rex has it as well. So it's just like this sort of ovally circle. Usually the bottom is left open. And again, as much texture as you want now on this face. You can give them scars, you know, because they've been fighting. I always like giving the dinosaurs some scars. It makes them look just a bit more dangerous. Right, so texture like that, right? So that's the shape of the top of his head. So then we'll go for the bottom, right? So we've got this gap in his mouth. So he's got this like a vented sort of area, right? It's got like a piece of skin here. It's like a little triangle just there. And this will have like skin lines, you know, just going back multiple different ways. Like so, into that corner of his mouth. The bottom of his jaw then, well, we'll do the back side here first. So it'll come down this way, right? And come around to the front. And again, we're going to have like a bumping, much like this, a bumping line that will go up to this corner, this triangle space up here. And all the teeth will come out of these bumps, right? Troughs and ridges and things. Okay. And we'll give him some texture down here as well. So like these bumps. Like this. Maybe some here as well, and we'll give him a scar coming down here, maybe 2. And again, some texture like that. Right, so we'll start adding some teeth. We can see the other side of his mouth as well, like on the inside of his mouth, but we'll do the teeth on one side first, okay? So again, they're he kind of has short sort of teeth, kind of stumpy sort of. this kind of thing, right? They're not sort of overly, and there's like gaps in between. You know what I mean? They're not. It's not like typical dinosaur teeth. It's quite strange. You might have like a small one every now and then. This is the kind of pattern we got. That kind of thing, okay? And we'll do that down here as well. So we're starting the top here. We'll just add some smaller ones quite close together because we got some perspective thing. It wraps around, okay? We'll just make its chin a little bit bigger. And then keep going. Like so. We just keep going around. Like that. Right, so we can see like a bit of his tongue sticking out this way, right? So it comes out and kind of flicks up here. There somewhere. And then it'll go back underneath. So underneath these teeth. So then there's teeth we can see on the other side, right? So we should be able to see like some of his gum or like the other side of his mouth kind of here bumping around, and then it goes underneath the tongue just there, and then some more kind of teeth here. Like that. Like so. So maybe some dots and texture on the inside, and then we should be able to see some of the other side of his mouth here as well, just because of the way his head is turned, right? So we should see another line coming down this way, okay, coming out say from this tooth, and a kind of a bumpy sort of mouth line coming down here. And then about here we will see this piece of skin that's on the other side of his mouth come down like that. So we're kind of looking into this side of his mouth a little bit. And there might be some textures coming along here. Okay, teeth then. Again, weird sort of spaced out teeth, right? Not close together, some of them real small, some of them big. So like the back of his neck's kind of complicated, right? He's got all these big spikes, like a couple of layers of them, okay? And then the front of his neck comes down here. Front of his neck's easier, so we'll just do that first. And then we'll try and deal with all those big spikes, right? So this comes down. Let's see. that way, right? And then so we have an arm sticking out here as well. So we'll just add the front of his body. Like say it'll go just like in here, and then we'll do the arm just sticking out here. So his LD bow around this way, like that, and then his forearm comes out here. And this will come around to like a couple of claws, right? So we'll bump around here, and then the top of his finger kind of wraps around here, and then a big spiking claw comes out just there. And then we'll bring this down kind of like that, and then back into his hand. And then we've 3 more, so another comes up, down that way, then down that way. 3 segments, 1, 2, 3, 3, and 2 knuckles. See, these ridges are the knuckles here. And then this will go around. Like that. Up here. Big spiking claw here. Real big one. Crazy big. Like a velociraptor kind of one. And then index, no, not index. What would you call it? I suppose this would be his little finger. And then we'll kind of bring it around, and then the top, and then bumps around here. Skin lines and stuff. Another one here. Then like a big claw again. Just there. And he does have a thumb claw, right? So, where would it be? Right underneath here. Kind of in the middle of his hand. So I'll put it here. Hopefully this is accurate. But right, so there's like the claw here. And then it's attached to his thumb, right? Which like goes around here. It's like quite, it's like in its wrist or something. Like here as well. So somewhere there. So it's unusual sort of. And then a line for his hand where it goes up that way. Something else here. You can add some texture as much as you want now as well. Like so, and then so his neck ridges and lines and things, right, that come up. There's some lines that come up his head towards the back of his neck, like come up towards the head this way. Like these kind of things. I don't know if they're like vents or they're kind of they wouldn't be vents or gills or anything anyway, but lines like that. And then we got like some neck lines, some skin coming down this way, some like wrinkles, and we'll make these maybe a little bit thicker, put a shadow on them if we can. Where's my other, need a thicker marker. Thought I had a thick one. Oh yeah, here. So we'll just make this a little bit darker. Like come down towards his body, some stuff here. This is just like, you know, skin wrinkles and stuff. Like so. Okay, so then all those spikes and stuff on the back of his neck. So there's no kind of easy way of doing it, right? I wish there was an easy way, but there isn't. You just have to do it. We'll do like one line. Right, we'll do these sort of zigzag, right? We'll do one row. That might be an easy way. So we'll go one. Leave a gap maybe. Coming down this way, right? Eventually they get a little bit smaller. Down here, and then they go across his back. Off that way, okay? And we kind of got to make them look, so they're not all the same shape or size or anything like that, but we got to make them look like sort of like pyramids, right? So you do a line coming down from here. Right, so now they look like, you know, pyramids, like a row of pyramids. And we got to make them look like they're attached then to his skin, right? So, you know, lines down here. And this is just the first row. So there's like multiple sort of lanes of this stuff. This is just the first one. So, and they kind of come down sort of in a row down here as well. So each one of these will have some that come down from them, and then another row that goes this way. So like say two more. So we'll go here. And again, they kind of get real small as we go down here. Kind of going that way. And then maybe like the ones here, yeah, they'll go like this way as well. So basically, the further you get from his spine kind of thing is the smaller they will get, okay? And we will make these look like pyramids as well. Right, so we'll go a line going that way. Okay, do that again. And then we'll attach it to his skin. So we'll just do these little sort of bumps on the bottom of them. So we'll just go sort of around like this, right? And these can be broken lines, you know, sometimes less is more with like lizards and textured creatures. Like, I just noticed I want to make him sort of a bit more wrinkly up on his eye here. Sorry, I always get distracted like by stuff like that. I'm like looking around the drawing as I'm drawing. I guess it's something you just learn to do as you're, I don't know, the more you draw, you're kind of like looking at the whole image, you know, you're noticing little different things as you're drawing other parts. I mean, right, so that's those, and then you can add more texture and wrinkles and all that kind of stuff as much as you want, you know, dots and circles and stuff like that, right? So this is like the back of his neck, right? But he has spines coming this way, like the pyramid ones and these long, crazy ones, right? So we'll just add a few pyramid ones first, like here. So there's like 2 layers, right? And they're kind of going to stop maybe there. And we'll just have some in behind here as well. And we'll make them pyramids then. Right, kind of like that. Then we got to add those big crazy black ones, right? So the curve out here, they're real long. You can add kind of as much of these as you want, and some of them go in different directions sometimes, like in behind some other ones, like kind of like that sort of thing. way. That way. And we'll just do a row. Probably the easiest thing to do, just coming down his back. And then we'll add some ones in behind, right? The pyramid sort of stuff here. And maybe some go off the page that way. Some like stick up. These are all black, so don't worry if you like draw over some, they'll be like colored in. The same color mostly. And I think I'll leave it there. Okay, that is basically the Indominus, right? That's what you could put in another hand if you wanted here, but I think one's enough. What do you think? Yeah, we'll go over and do our friend the old T-Rex now, the old school Tyrannosaur. Okay, now so again, well, I forgot, like you can sort of thicken up certain lines if you wanted to sort of make certain things stand out. That's always a good thing to know that you can do when you're drawing. Different line weights, like making certain lines heavier than other ones, right? So it makes the outside darker and sort of pop a little bit more, and then your texture lines sort of recede. It's a little sort of trick you can do when you're drawing a line drawing, you know, when you're not really doing much shading or just darkening up some lines, making them heavier. It's quite common. It's kind of an optical thing, and it serves two purposes. It can clean up any lines that are kind of sketchy on the outside, and then it can add extra weight to the outside lines and make your inside lines look a little bit thinner, finer. But anyway, T-Rex. So his eye quite small. Up here again, start with this sort of lemon shape, same as Indominus, right? Sort of looking this way. So we give him a pupil. Kind of put it over to the right hand side and kind of make it a little bit skinny, like not a perfect circle, to make it look like he's looking over here. So we got like some eyelid lines and things. So a line like coming around his eye, another one here. So these are like just some wrinkles and stuff around his eye, kind of like we did with Indominus over here. Bags underneath his eye and things. Like so. And then, so he's frowning quite heavily, right? So he's got this like big bumping sort of frowning line. Like comes around sort of his head, the back of his eye. Down that way, right? And this is like a big bone as well, so it's like it has a top part that comes down here, and this will eventually join his big snout, right? But we'll add some texture and things on this as well. So this like comes up this way. We'll just bring it down this way, down towards the front of his nose, right? And this will have scales and bumps and all sorts of things inside, right? And eventually these may become like individual. Come on, drink water. behind the scenes. I drink water. Sneak peek. So adding all these down here like that, and then we'll just add some more wrinkles and things inside, and you can thicken up this sort of edge line here like that. Just bring his eye socket sort of around here. Then kind of like the Indominus, top of his snout will come out here, except like the T-Rex snout is kind of rounder. It's got a different sort of shape to it. Kind of like bumps up and then comes down. Like that, right? So they're real close to one another, okay? It's about to kick off. So then his mouth comes around. And again, it's like, he's like a slender sort of velociraptor sort of shape. His is like more bulbous, kind of like comes around like this, right? And then we'll bring it up, and then it goes down that way. And then he has this sort of round gap or dent in his snout sort of thing back here. So a lot of the carnivorous dinosaurs in Jurassic Park and Jurassic World seem to have this kind of thing. And also at the back somewhere, like a small one kind of back here. Similar sort of thing as our boy the Indominus, right? So then back of his head, kind of same sort of thing, same sort of line. Goes back and down, goes in a little bit and then goes out. And then these lines will kind of join together then. Dips down here. We got this like dip down, back up around for there. And then we got lots of texture, right? So we got like lots of these bumps and lines and stuff on the edge of his head. And all coming across his mouth, just like our Indominus. I keep saying our boy the Indominus. I'm going to stop saying it because I think they're female dinosaurs, aren't they? In Jurassic World. Well, they were in Jurassic Park. I'm not sure in Jurassic World. Life finds a way. So all these lines, and then we're going to give him a scar. Give her a scar. Or even you could do blood if you want it to be like a fresh wound, you know. And then texture, lots of it, less of it. These sort of circles, clustered circles like these are helpful when you're doing reptiles, things like that. Groups of 3 or 4. Oh, and his nose. So, or the nose. Just kind of here. Maybe like a ridge line. Just thicken up the line a little bit like so. Right, we do the bottom jaw, then we'll do teeth, tongue, same sort of order. Bottom jaw is quite big, bigger than the Indominus, right? So rounder. Okay, we're always thinking sort of round shapes with this T-Rex, right? Go up. Like so. Bring it around this way. And dips up, and it's kind of like you got to think like when those jaws close together, they form a seal, right? So this means like this part should go into here, and we should have like a opposite zigzag sort of thing. So like will go down, right? So that part will like close into there, And then this part will close into here, so we'll go back up. Like so. And he also has this sort of skin flap, keeping the jaws together there. And this can have some more texture on it, like so. And why not more scars? Let's just go for the scars. Feeling the scars today. And then more ridges and bumps and stuff coming down on his mouth. And so, like jaw lines, texture, scales. And tongue and teeth. Right, so he has much more evenly spaced teeth than the Indominus, right? And they're kind of bigger as well. So, say what one here. And we'll just stay going. And they get the biggest ones seem to be here, so I'll add that, like, and it's kind of that sort of shape, right? Different to the Indominus. And then we'll add some more. Like so. Way back to the back of the mouth. Down there, and you should probably see like maybe some like coming through on the other side, like on his mouth, sort of here. Maybe a few. Yeah, like the other side of his mouth, just back there. Maybe that's too much, but I don't know. More teeth is always better than less. Right, so then teeth on the bottom, right? So we got like teeth like so, and they're a bit smaller on the bottom, it seems. And then his tongue. So his tongue sort of sticking out. He's giving a big roar. So the tongue is like sticking out here. Goes back in. And then we can see that skin flap just coming down here. We can't really see some, we can see maybe one tooth sticking up here on the other side. Can't see his gum like the Indominus. It's like a different sort of pose. So some teeth, just like that. Right? Okay, so the back of his head and his neck. So we go sort of around. This will go down, sort of off the page that way. And then the front of his neck goes down this way. And again, we can see like a shoulder there. And a bit of an arm sticking out somewhere. So, like, he's got tiny little arms. So, comically tiny arms. So, what am I looking at? Is it 3? That's hard to make out. What is that? Okay. Gonna have to try and figure this out now. So, that elbow comes out there. And then his arm, or the arm, is there. Then we got like 2 fingers, right? So one of them is like a thumb, right? So the thumb comes up, and they're real small, smaller than his. So like comes around. Stumpy sort of nail on the top. This comes down here first. This goes into his hand there. Stumpy little nail. It's not like velociraptor claws in the other one. Comes down around here. Like so. There like that, right? And again, we can thicken up sort of our edge, and we'll add like a vein, right? There's like a big vein that comes down here, so it's like a big winding line like that, and then maybe another couple of these. And then like texture lines and stuff. And we'll thicken up some of these vein lines, but we got like a line for like his spine, a light line, and then there's like lines going this way on his neck. Texture and wrinkles and things. Again, as much of this as you want. Right, and we're going to make these lines darker, the wrinkly ones, because they're heavily shadowed, because it's like a bulging kind of vein on his neck, right? So you just gotta make this darker or thicker. That kind of thing. Okay. We'll just do the same thing we did with the Indominus, just make the outside lines a little bit darker, just so that he stands out a little bit. Okay, but I think I'll leave it there. That is how to draw T-Rex versus Indominus Rex. Hope it was helpful, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.